Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today, I am not only going to talk about, I'm going to show you the spell work, root work, if you will, that I'll be doing for my loved ones. So I won't go too much into detail because I want to protect their privacy, and at the same time, I want to sort of show you, I want to give you, I guess, a real life look into what that looks like, at least for me and the way I practice magic. So you'll be seeing it from that perspective. But before I get into it, I got to talk about this consent. So the people that I'm doing this work for, they're aware I'm doing this work. So there's no issue of them not understanding or them not knowing. Um, and you know what? If they had said, please, you know what, don't do anything for me, then I wouldn't do anything for them. If you are in a position where you see that your magic, your root work, your spell, your whatever magical influence, energy work would be beneficial to someone that you care for and that you love, but they are not open to it, then the only thing you really can do is just adhere to their request to not do it. Um, in the same way that you'll hear other people in other religions say, well, I still prayed for them, by all means, do the equivalent to prayer, just, I hope this person is well, send out positive affirmations about them. Speak positive affirmations about them. You're not going to, make yourself crazy with this. This is something you do all day, every day, where you're really focusing on it. But it's more like, maybe if you have, in the beginning of the day during meditation, if you kind of just like to think about your day and allow whatever energies to come through or energies to flow out, that's a time maybe right before you kind of get really into the nitty gritty of your meditation. You can simply say a few words like, hey, blessings to, Sean, universe, please protect, Mary. And that's it. You know, that's just positive energy being sent their way from you, and ultimately it's up to them. I have a conversation that I talk about on here all the time in various videos. I can't even point to just one, but the will. When we're practicing magic, you're that thing that's really from you, that's coming out, that energy is your will. You're pushing, that magic, you're putting it out there with sheer will. The people that you might want to do spell work for, they also have their own will. If they're willing it so that they're going down a certain path that you see is dangerous or you don't think is good for them, they're willing it so. So it's the battle of the wills. So you know what? Your energy could be, listen, they're going down this path. You just hope they stay protected. Whatever lessons that need to be learned, may they be learned, and may they learn the lesson and move forward. That's the type of energy you put out there. You don't try to override their will. And that's where we get a little bit more into consent. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk about that, because I know people feel differently. And this is, right now I'm talking about people you love and you care about. Now, people you don't like, you want to do work on them, that's a different video. Right now, this is about loved ones, people we care about, and wanting to help them with our magical influence or our energy work. You just want consent. So ideally you want consent. So the next thing I just want to talk about is, as a mother, I always want to protect my family. Of course, my children, I'm always going to be an advocate for protecting them. So as small children, you might ask, well, how do you get consent if they're, little kids? They won't be able to answer you and tell you for sure. They don't fully comprehend. And that's, I perfectly understand, especially if you're talking about a baby. Duh, they can't answer you and say, yes, I give my consent. I would say at that stage, you are speaking for your children. You are their advocate. So yeah, I would do the spell, a protection spell. I would be very cautious the types of spells that I would do. Protection. Now, protection against what? This is where you kind of got to put your witchy extra thinking cap on a little bit more, because you don't want to block lessons. You don't want to block um, other energies that's going to shape and form them because you're acting out of fear. So when I say protection, it's not coming from a, oh my God, I don't want anything to happen to him, I'm so afraid. It's more of a situation where it's like, okay, I love my family, I love my babies, I want to protect them from harm, evil, ill will, that sort of thing. So just something to think about. Just be a little bit more careful with your wording and your intentions, especially when you are in a position where obviously the person can't give a consent, aka a baby. So just be careful. But other than that, here we go. Let me get into the video and I'll just show you what I do. All right. Okay. And here we go. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I like to do, and yes, there's a particular order, but I tend to like to set the tone, cleanse the space. I like to use incense. I like to use, you know what, let me just go ahead and put this on here first. I like to use sage. I like to use Palo Santo. I use a couple different things. Now, this is a vanilla scented incense that I'm going to use right now. And I'm lighting this, putting it here to the off the side. It'll be off camera. Somewhat off camera, I guess. But the whole point is to just, vanilla to me is loving, it's peace. And remember, this is for loved ones. This is for my loved ones. So this is why I chose to use this particular scent. So I'm going to just get this a little bit off so the smoke is not blowing directly in my face. But I'm sure you can, see some of the smoke. All right, and my little feather here. So off camera, I have my witchy box that I've created. I'll put a link for the video for that, where I have all of my little tools and things like that readily available to me. Actually, let me get this off. I don't need that. This is just an incense holder. Anyhow, so what I'm going to go ahead and do today first is I'll explain and then I'll jump into it. So this is a pink chime candle. And hopefully the lighting's not too crazy. You could see it. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit. No, that's not going to help. So this is a pink chime candle. This candle is going to represent love. That's basically what it's about. Love, all love. So this candle goes here. I'll anoint this in just a moment. And then I have this one here. This one is for intuition. It's for knowing. This is for a different loved one. So intuition, knowing, knowledge, that's what that one's for. And then these over here, this is actually, these go together. This is actually for one individual in particular who needs to learn balance. Emotionally speaking, they can use a little magical boost with magical balance. So if you notice, it's just white and black here, and it's just representing different energies. So as we're banishing maybe some attributes, traits that have been picked up, and just with this person, since childhood, we're going to go ahead and banish those that do not serve them well and is actually hindering them. And then we're coming in with the white one here, the white chime candle. And this is just going to represent, basically with white, it's kind of a blank slate. So for me, I'm bringing the energy with this particular candle to allow an opening for the positive, the good, understanding, for this person to have better skills, emotionally speaking, to just kind of go through the variations and trials of life. This is for lack of better words, this type of spell work that I'm doing, it sounds very vague probably, if you're watching this, and I completely understand, for like, so what exactly are you saying? Basically, I just want to help this person with balance and energies, hence the black and white. So that's what that represents. If that, hopefully that kind of resonates with you. Sometimes when you're doing work like this, it's not always a money spell. It's not always simply just love. This is a love, self-love. This is also friendship, romantic. It's all love in general here. This one, intuition, knowing, knowledge, perception. All of that is represented with this blue. And then again, the black and white is for the balance for this person, emotional balance. Um, Banish what doesn't serve and bring in openings, opportunities for those that will make them be their basically better self. So that's what I have going on here. So the other component that I'm going to do as we cleanse the air is I have this yarn here. I got this from Michael's. So I actually have a piece cut. I got the scissors. I realized I already cut it. And what I'm going to do is, for me, this is going to represent, as I make knots, I'll just speak basically well, you'll see in a moment. Basically, I'll make knots, and it's kind of like binding this to be true for all, for all energies that I'm putting out there. So you'll see that momentarily, but I kind of wanted to show you because if I just whip it out, you'll be like, what was that about? So let's get into it. All right, so here's my anointing oil. I'm going to go ahead and anoint the candles first. So this is just the prep work. So how I do it, you could do it however you want. I just pour a little bit in my hand and I just rub it in on the candle. This has been blessed already. See, the thing about this witchcraft thing, guys, if you stay, in your magic, so to speak, a lot of it is prepping. It's a lot like having things on hand, already blessed, already charged. Nothing wrong if you don't do that. If that's not how you work, that's perfectly fine. But the reality of it is, it makes it so that you can concentrate on what you're actually doing the magic for versus, individually charging every item. So that can have power in itself, don't get me wrong, but I like to do it like this. So I had enough here where I was able to put it on all, and I'm just rolling it. Now there's an art to this too. There's a message and meaning behind the direction that you go in. Notice I'm not making it toward me or away from me. I'm rolling it because it's not really even about me. So that's why I'm doing that. And I'm just wiping some of the oil off my hand, off camera. All right. This tool, this dish or whatever I'm using here, this is something I purchased from IKEA many years ago. I think they still sell it, by the way. And it's basically something you put the candles on. It's heat proof, so that's why I use it, because my workspace, also, believe it or not, and excuse me, an IKEA desk, I would prefer not to burn things or get heat marks or something like that on it. So that's why I'm using this. But I use this for the sole purpose of this type of work. This always holds my things, witchy things, so to speak, especially things that get hot. So now that we have that done, I'm going to pull my little cauldron. Yes, it's dirt, leftover dirt. I cleaned out as best as I can, but it is a cauldron, so it's only going to get so clean. I burn things in here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I have this little notebook here. I'm just going to write their names down of who I'm doing these spell works for here off camera. Okay, so I have that written down. And that is just confirmation to the universe. And I am folding this away from me like that, right? Because this is energy I am sending out. Okay, so I'm going to just put that right here in my cauldron. Okay, and then I have these herbs. This is a herb blend. There's another video I have where I've created this. I'm just shaking it up to get it all distributed. So I'm going to just take some of this herbal blend. And better use the hand without the oil. And I'm just going to sprinkle that right over it. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to put the cap on my oil here. Okay, and now to bring everything in to focus into this moment, into where we are. So what I need is all right here. So I'm going to ring the bell. Okay, and we begin. So The candles have been anointed. I could have carved something on here, but I have the petition with their names on it. And um, I'm going to do my best to speak, because the reality of it is, usually when I do this, it's not about speaking for me, it's about feeling, and I work in that direction. So, here we are. So notice I have my wand here. Don't use a lot of this in videos. I'm sure if you've seen enough of my videos, you don't really see me using this. But today's the day. So how am I going to do this? To me, it just directs energy. It's coming from my body, and I'm flowing it through the wand. You can easily use your hands. That's perfectly fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some deep breaths. I'm going to make sure I ground myself, and that's what I'm doing right now. Deep in through the nose and then out. In through the nose again and then out. All right. Okay, so here I go. So first, I'm just taking my energy and I'm touching the candle here, and I'm basically charging this candle using my energy. See, I'm an energetic life form, so therefore I can charge it. I don't always have to look outward. I don't always have to petition other forces, other entities, spirits, and things of that nature. I am powerful. You are powerful. We are all powerful. I am witch. I yield, I manipulate, and I influence energy, okay? This is the energy. This is how you want to represent when you come to do your spell work. I'm a witch. This is what I do. I do witchcraft. This is witchcraft. I'm getting it done. I am taking my innate powers that I have, and I am charging this candle. I am charging this candle with my intention as well. I am also charging this candle with my intentions, and this one as well. My cauldron is now also charged with the intention to burn. As I burn these herbs and I burn these names, it goes into the ethers. I will have a window open. It will go out into the universe, and all will be as I will it. So it is done. So I will it. So mote it be. Okay, let's get going. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, let me get my position placement here of these candles. Okay. Again, this blue one is for someone I care about. And this blue one I'm lighting with the intention that they gain knowledge, that they gain intuition, or they utilize their intuition to yield as they see fit. So mote it be. This pink chime candle, this one is for love, self-love, romantic love, friendship. This person is deserving of having love, true love in their life. Not only receiving, but being in a unique position to freely give it as well. So mote it be. Then we have these over here. I'm just going to separate these a little bit because these kind of go together. Like I said, it's kind of a yin and yang situation I got going on here. So this loved one, these candles, the white and the black represent balance. As we're equally banishing, we're equally bringing in, making room for positive, for their greater good, for stronger, capable emotional balance that they have access and can tap into. So mote it be. Okay. And now, before I burn the petition of names, I'm just going to finalize some things here. So again, this represents, now remember, I have a little bit of residual oil in my hand, so I'm just going to anoint this by wiping it, like so. Okay. And now, I'm just going to tie it. And as I make each knot, as I will it, so it is done. 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 Okay, so I can keep going. This is fine for me at the level that I'm at right now. This is perfect. As I will it, so it is done. As I will it, so it is done. Now, this particular knot, this wonderful knot that I just created, uh, this is going to go, I have a special place when I do knot magic. It's a little chest that I keep the knots in. And I have done knot magic for other things, other people, for myself, and so forth. So I'm going to move this over there. I'm not going to burn this. This is kind of representative of the spell still working, of it being, for as long as I deem it. Then if I wanted to release that, I would burn it. I could bury it. I could do a couple things with it. I could cut it up into pieces. I could try to undo it. Okay? So I'm going to put that off to the side for now because that is going into a place. I don't want to put that on camera right now. Okay, so now I burn because as I burn, as I mentioned before, this goes into the ethers. The herbs burn. It consecrates my petition even further. Their names are written, so it is done. So it is done. All that I will is done. And do you know what's fueling this energy? Do you know what's fueling this? My love for the people that I care about. That's what's fueling this. That is the magic, love. Never let anybody tell you that love, when I say love magic, hear me out. I mean the primary focus, the reason that you're doing this. Protection usually comes from a place of love, and it's coming from a place of love. I am a wife, a mother, a friend, a sister, cousin. I'm a lot of things to a lot of different people, and I love them. And that energy, man, let me tell you something. That strong feeling of love is a great catalyst to magic and to fueling that magic, and why I would even want to do this. The simplicity of it is simple. A chime candle, incense burning some things. It's very simplistic, but that love is complex that I feel for my family and my friends. It's complex. It's deep. It's deep. So that's what's fueling this. So don't let the simplicity fool you, is what I'm basically trying to say. Okay, so now that I have all of this done, and this is pretty much the spell, okay, what I like to do is just say a little bit of word. Well, I'm gonna say words down. Normally, I just sit here quietly, but I'm gonna kind of vocalize what I'm thinking. Because I like to engage my ancestors, not always to petition to help them, but just, like, hey, look what I'm doing. You guys, if you want to interject, if you want to, give me any information, if you want to help, that's great. But I just basically kind of send out that energy because I like to know. Now, ideally, you might want to do something like this ahead of the spell. You can do it during, and just to make sure you're on the right path. I have been knowing I was doing this spell for some time now, so today is the day I'm filming it. So I've already sort of made those connections, but for the sake of the video, here we go. Whew. So basically, when I reach out to my ancestors, I go on a different plane of existence. I'm physically here, but I'm going on a different plane of existence. That's what I'm doing. And it starts with steady breathing. Sometimes my eyes are closed, sometimes they're open, doesn't matter. But basically, it's basically nothingness, it's all dark. I see figures around. For lack of better words, they're hooded with black robes. It's hard to make out. I just know there are beings there within the darkness. The only light is fire, and it's basically a lit cauldron. That's what I see, or that's what I imagine I'm seeing. That's what they're allowing me to see. And I know that they're from all of my paths, all of my journeys, all of my past lives. All those ancestors are right there. And I'm always sitting, if I was to look It's kind of like a half circle around the cauldron. I'm always on the left edge. It's usually one being, ancestor, uh, doing any sort of physical touching of anything with the cauldron, reaching in. Sometimes I don't see that. It's just I'm in a space and I'm allowed to be there. Like right now, and as I'm talking to you, I'm holding space there and I'm communicating to you guys as well over this video. And what I'm basically waiting for is image, sound, sight, smell, you know, a thought form just popping in my head, anything. If there is nothingness and I just feel peace like I do right now, I consider that an opportunity for me to go forward. Okay. All right. So there we are. So this is my little magic here that I did for my loved ones. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Mika, Leap Taken. Please like, subscribe, share. And if you've already subscribed, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And again, thank you so much for watching the video. And I hope this is maybe, give you a little inspiration to do a little magic for some people you love today as well. Bye-bye.